So hi everybody, we're back again here at Total Chaos 2019. I'm here with Victor Hugo.
Hey.
I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us.
Thank you.
You are a really amazing artist.
Thank you.
Watched your talk yesterday.
Oh.
It was fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
I think the best way for us to start out is that you give us a little bit of a background about where you studied, maybe where you're from, and how you kind of started out.
Okay, sure. I would try to do like a short version because the stories are like a little crazy. I'm a self-taught artist. I never went to college, to be honest. I started by accident. I never wanted to be like a 3D artist. My goal was to be like a history teacher. I didn't went well like the college tests in Brazil, and I needed a job to raise money for college. So I got this job on like this archivist company, and they need like a junior modeler, and I was like, yeah, I think I can do that. No, I couldn't. And I couldn't at all. And I started over there. Just like a funny detail. When I started, like they said, "Oh, can you start?" And I said, "No, I need a week so I can like do some closure on my old job." Remember, I said I needed a job. I didn't have a job before that, so I asked this week to like grab some tutorials about like modeling furniture and kind of learn in a week for the job. And you ask, okay, so what about the portfolio? Because people ask for portfolio. So in Brazil back in 2005, they didn't used to ask about portfolios, just like, oh, you know 3D? Yeah, I know. Oh, so come work for me. That's how it works back then. I worked there for 3 years, like as a 3D artist for this archivist company. Then I moved to advertising because I want like more freedom, like more creativity freedom. And at the same time, I started doing characters for fun, to be honest. And I started like doing fun arts. That's what I really like it. I'm like a huge nerd. I grew up reading comics and playing video games. After some years doing like characters for fun, people start to pay me to do that. It's like, wow! So people are willing to give me money to do that kind of stuff. That's amazing. And started like to grow like more and more clients. I had like this mind-blowing experience that was like the art event called Trojan Horse was Unicorn.
Right.
And it helped me a lot, like to expand my mind about like I had a lot of like self-doubt and insecure. I'm really anxious and insecure person about my work. But Trojan Horse helped me like to get a lot of confidence about that. More confidence, not a lot, because I don't have a lot of confidence. More confidence about my work, and I went to like full freelance.
So I think it's really interesting that you started out in ArcViz.
Yeah.
And I am also curious, so you started out in ArcViz, but had you as a kid, did you do a lot of drawings? Were you like really into characters and things like that? Or is this something that came later?
Totally later.
Funny, that's really funny.
Was like, actually like knowing characters was a consequence for getting to like the into ArcViz. Because I started like to see like some like Evermotion and other like ArcViz like websites, and I saw some people like posting characters. Like, oh, this is cool actually. Like people can do that. It's funny because like every time they saw like someone like doing a talk or I grew up like watching Toy Story and
right.
No, I won't lie about that. Sorry, I'm not like that. I don't have like this. Oh, it was my dream job. Nope, not at all. Not at all. It was totally by accident.
You really came into it.
And it just fell in love.
Interesting. It's really interesting.
But it wasn't like the reason.
Yeah, okay. And so you progressed after doing ArcViz, and you said you worked in advertising, and then you came into your love for doing character stuff. You thought you wanted to do this. After all of this stuff, you came into a big opportunity, and that was
Disney.
To work for Disney.
Yeah,
right? Okay. So tell us about that.
So I was on again Trojan Horse. That art festival, I played like a huge role like in my career. And I was over there for the third year, working the recruitment sessions, helping out like the event. Actually, I was there to make people chill because they're so nervous about like the interview step. Like, I was like, oh, chill, and like telling jokes and making fun of like the companies. Like, oh, you don't want to go to Blizzard, it's boring, I don't know if it's boring or not, but I was like making people like be relaxed about, because it's a huge deal. Imagine like it's pretty rare to get in touch with those companies, and suddenly like you're on the line to talk to them and maybe getting a job by accident. I don't know. So it's a huge thing. Like one day you're at school and suddenly you're on the line to talk like to Blizzard recruiter. It's a huge deal. So I was like trying to make people chill about that. And when the lines are like clear, there are no lines, I'm like, well, there's no one seeing. Like, hey, hello, I'm Victor. And it was funny because I was so happy with my freelance career. I wasn't looking for a job to work at those companies. I just wanted like some like honest feedback. I went like to Riot, for example, and I said, okay, I know you don't like my work. I just want to know why. Can you tell me like why you won't hire me? And he was kind of mind blown because he explained like, okay, I won't hire you because I see your work, I like it, but it's not what we do. You see, you are from another country, and I need to have have to sponsor a visa for you, and visa are not like cheap at all. And I wouldn't like make a bet. Okay, this guy might do what I wanted. So
I understand. So he was like telling you just straight out that in order to get that opportunity, you would have to be kind of working in the style which they.
Yes, like
it's a safe bet for them.
Yes, needs to be a safe bet for them.
Right.
It's totally understandable, you know.
Right.
And at Disney, I got like a really nice feedback. The guy said, okay, so you like we met a lot of people from Disney over there. I actually didn't knew they were from Disney. I just like drinking beer with people and like, oh, where you work? Oh, I'm from Disney. I'm the recruiter. I was like, oh, hi.
Did I say something I shouldn't have?
Yeah, it was like I was super drunk at the time. I remember on the first interview, I was super nervous, and I got like this opportunity to make an interview with like Platige. So that was the thing. I was super nervous about like the interview. Was my first time doing interview in English, like for a company. And I said, okay, let's go get some alcohol, and I'm good to go. And I got a little more than I supposed to drink. And like, no one's gonna notice. And I made an interview. They really like my work. They sent an email. Okay, we want to work with you. Like, you want to be a freelance? We're totally like good to work with you as a freelance. And like 2 years later, I met the recruiter once again on THU, and I was like, hey, remember me? Oh yeah, you were the drunk guy for interview. I was like, oh my God, she knows this.
But she remembered you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's more about the remembering you than the...
Yeah, I'm like, no, you were like the funniest interview ever because you were like drunk, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, thank you. So
anyway, you got into contact with Disney.
Yeah.
You did end up working there. You ended up getting a job. You worked on Moana.
Yeah, I worked as a look dev artist for environments.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said in your talk though that you realized like after working there for a while that it wasn't really ideal for you because of the hours and like the way it just. You know, I loved your presentation about the pros and cons, and they were the same. But that's true. Sometimes it is. You know, like there's two sides to everything.
Yes.
So that's what kind of set you on the next path of going into like doing things on your own. Maybe you tell me, why you ended up leaving, and then what's next.
Yeah. So Disney was like at first was like a dream come true. Like I said, I haven't like this childish dream like okay, when I was a kid I wanted to do like Toy Story stuff. No, I didn't have, but when I grew up and learned about that, like we started doing characters, like okay, this is the ultimate goal, like the high place. There's like when you like get things done, it's there where you are, Disney Pixar. And when I got there I was like, okay, I got it, I'm finally here, like I did it. It was like a dream coming true. It was like the perfect situation, like amazing structure, all like the tools that I always wanted to have, but you don't have like on a like daily basis. They have like everything really set up. It's super round to be like optimized. It's perfect. But there's like the bad sides. Like for example, I wasn't work so much, and it's like crunch time was crazy for me. Since I was like in the talent development program, every 3 months we had like this review, and if you weren't doing good, they just like let you go. Disney had some like internal issues at the time, and they have like to let you go like I think I can't remember the exact number of the percent of workers at the time, and they let all like the new people go. And since I wasn't one of like new people,
okay,
I was forced to leave. And I felt like really lost about it because, like I said, it was a dream job, and it's like, okay, so what should I do now? I decided like that I should like, okay, let's keep from where I stopped it, like the freelance stuff, like the personal work stuff. So I decided like to keep doing my fan arts, that like my Marvel and like games fan arts. It was fun because at some point I got like this email, and it's like, hey, hello from Marvel. I'm like, oh, Span, like magazines. Okay, I'm not buying like any comics from And the mail was like, "Hey Victor, how are you?" And I'm from Marvel, and we we really love your work. We're fan artists, and we want to try something out. Are you interested in do some covers for us, some artwork for us? And yeah. I remember that I read 3 times the mail to make sure there was I finished, I got it right. And I asked them okay, so sure, yeah. They want to do something super realistic, as the covers, super anatomy, superhero anatomy stuff. And we want you do something in your style. We like your style. When you do something this kind of toyish look characters, and it's wow, okay, sure, I'm in. It was a really crazy, but it's really, really enjoyable process because they give me almost all the freedom that I wanted to be
That's
it was
really cool.
It was kind of getting paid to do fan art actually.
Just so I understand, what's the process you do a little bit, in your creative process when you start? What do you look at references? How do you get started?
I try to gather the most references I can, both from I look for two different paths. First one, it's the comic references, the original, the fidelity to the source material. Because I'm not doing adaptation, I'm doing for the comics. So I need to be true to the comics. That's my main source. I look for also real world references, for example, I don't like to do everyone using spandex.
Okay.
So I try to find ways to make it looks more realistic, but still stylize it. And the third, my third biggest reference is cosplayers. Because they do that, what I just said, the comic and the real world. So they're the perfect references.
So you can see how it actually is fitting on a real body.
Yes, how it works, the real world logic of it. Cosplayers are the best person to do that. I imagine my work like a super high budget cosplay, because I don't have the budget limit. And after that, instead of doing the normal CG process T-pose and look dev, and I block out the overall idea. I do a really shitty model, and can I say shitty?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
For you kids out there, don't say that at home. Don't say that.
A really bad model, a really bad looking model, and I just do a also really bad looking rigging, and I just pose the model and find the right composition and do a really bad draw over really quick. Really it takes 2 hours at most. It's a really like a sketch, but using the 3D tools, And I send to them and say, okay, I have this idea, and do a quick brief about my idea, and they're okay, go for it. Or sometimes, oh no, we need him to use that specific weapon. For example, I did a Spider-Man cover, and he had to use a helmet and a shield.
Right.
Why?
You showed this in the presentation.
Yeah. So I was why? Why has to do you wear a helmet? Anyway, we had to follow.
So this process gets then refined down to the final.
Yeah.
But I'd like to ask you one final question.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't want to speed you up, but I really want to ask you this question because I think you are a perfect person to learn this from.
Yeah.
And you talked about it a little bit. Is advice that you can give to someone in a situation. You had your dream job, and then you lost it, and then you went through the period. And what is something that people can do, when they're in these situations, to keep themselves motivated?
I think they need to remember why they started. What it wasn't to actually people think that they want to work at a company. They want to do what they do, and they think they can only do working for those companies. Actually, it's not like that. If you want to do a movie, you can gather friends or other professionals and do yourself movie. You don't depend on the big companies to realize your dreams. At least oh no, my dreams to be on the paycheck, my name on the Disney paycheck. If that's your dream, okay, you need to go there. There isn't any other way. But if your dream to do the stuff that they do, you can do by yourself. So keep the focus that the focus not to work for companies. You do what you want to do. So that's how you keep yourself motivated, and be communicative with people. Find people with talent that can help you out to accomplish your dreams.
Networking, get to know people, right?
Yeah,
it's really important.
Yeah, show your work so people can communicate. So that's what I.
So Victor, I really appreciate you
Thank
sitting
you.
down with us. I
you.
really enjoyed your talk. I look forward to seeing what comes out, what new stuff that you're going to be working on in the future. So thank you again.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Victor, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you guys.
If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do so. We're going to be back with some more interviews, and we'll see you for the next one.
Yeah, bye.
This was great.
Or can you like subscribe? I want to do that. Subscribe.